So welcome to our CVCC application step-by-step guide. Today, we will go page by page through the application, and you can press pause as you need to as you're working throughout the application, but the goal is that you use this video as a step-by-step guide to knock out the CVCC application. So the first steps for CVCC, number one, is to actually apply to CVCC. So you go to centralvirginia.edu to start your application. Once you've completed your application, you will activate your CVCC accounts. You are officially on your way to being a college student by activating your accounts. Step number three, you will order your transcript. Step number four, you will submit your FAFSA, the free application for federal student aid. And then you'll complete our Stay Close Go Far scholarship application so that you can have money to go to school. So we'll be with you for each of these steps. Feel free to pause the video again and then reach out to us if you have any questions about any of these steps. So step number one, so you've gone to centralvirginia.edu. You'll see at the top of the screen where it says apply now. You'll click that button. It'll take you to this screen where you'll hit apply now again. The next screen, you'll hit apply now just one more time, and then you'll be able to start the application. So you'll click on this screen, create an account. It'll prompt you to this screen. Make sure you are patient as this screen loads. Do not refresh the page, just wait for it to naturally go to the next page. And then you'll see this where it says create an account at the top of the screen. You'll type in your first and last name, your cell phone number, as well as an email address. Make sure that you do not use your LCS account. Use a personal email account or any other email accounts that you have other than your LCS account. So one more time, with me, say it with me. I will not use my LCS account. Then it'll prompt you to go to the next screen. Here you will actually create your username and password. Make sure you write this information down. This will allow you to stop the application if you are interrupted and then log back in as needed to complete the CVCC application. Once you've created that username and password, click submit at the bottom of the button, at the bottom of the screen, and you will be able to start the application.
Awesome. Once you have submitted that, you are going to actually start on your application. When you are putting in your last and first name, please make sure to use capital and lowercase letters. This application basically populates throughout your time at CVCC in all of your rosters and everything you do for CVCC. So we want you to make sure that you're professional and you fill out the application appropriately. So make sure you use capital and lowercase letters where needed. On the same page, you are also going to be asked to put in your social security number. This is an extremely important part of the application. If you don't have your social security number or you don't know it, make sure that you, even if you aren't able to fill it out right then, you can move on in the application, but make sure you come back and fill this out before you submit. If you do not fill this out, CVCC cannot link this application to financial aid. It can't link to a number of other things regarding your schooling, and you will have to bring your social security card up to the school physically in order for them to register you. So make sure, we don't want you to have to go through all these extra steps. So just make sure you put that in and you confirm your social security number before you submit your application. It's really important. Next, it's going to ask you some questions about your gender and ethnicity, and then you're going to press save and continue for the next page. The next page is going to ask you about a mailing address. Basically, this is just how CVCC would communicate with you via mail. They don't mail out very many things, but it's important to have an address on file, and that's the current address that you are living at right now. Please just make sure you fill out all the application and fill in everything that is needed regarding your address. They may ask you for the same a mailing address, which is just the same address that you put above. And then they're going to ask you for a personal email. Please make sure you put the same personal email that you put in your application submission or the application section that Ms. McQueen went over. This is just a way they're going to get in touch with you if they aren't able to use your CVCC account. Again, no LCS emails are allowed. Please make sure you have a personal email entered in this section. And that is the same for a telephone number. Make sure you have an updated telephone number that they can reach you at. If you happen to change your telephone number while you're at CVCC, you can call the school and change your telephone number that way. This is just another way for them to communicate with you if needed. The next, at the bottom of the page, it's just going to ask you to click I agree, and you reviewed the guidelines. You're going to press save and continue. Every time you save, and even if you're going through the process, all the things that you have written will be saved in the application. So if you do get interrupted and you need to go back into the application, all the information is saved. The next page is going to ask you about your education, your high school information. You're going to select the top choice because you are currently in high school. And then it's going to ask you what school. You're going to select Heritage High School, HHS, or EC Glass. If you type in Glass, you will see an option that will come up for EC Glass. If you are a student at Fort Hill or at the Empowerment Academy, you need to choose your base school. So you should either be choosing Heritage High School or EC Glass. It may ask you a couple of other questions regarding high school, but the bottom of the page is going to ask you if you've ever attended any other colleges. For the most of you, or if not all of you, you're going to select no. And then it's going to ask you about your graduation or when you plan on starting classes. So you're going to choose the fall of your graduation year.
So as you progress, you'll be asked about your military service. And so the answer is going to be no, unless you or a parent guardian has served in the military. And you'll click save and continue. You will be asked about your parents' education level. And so for one or both of your parents, you'll select the highest level of education that they achieved. And please note that it says there, those questions only apply to your natural or adoptive parents. And then we get into some residency questions where you're asked what your current status is. And then on the next page, or further down rather, you'll see questions about domicile. And so domicile is just a fancy word for where you live. And this is important to pay attention and get this next section accurately, the information accurately, because the domicile information and the residency information is going to be used to establish your in-state status for tuition. We'll use it when we check on your status for the Stay Close, Go Far application as well. So make sure that you select the option that you want to claim your eligibility based on your parent guardian's domicile, and then save and continue. You'll see some other questions there pertaining to the last 12 months of residency or domicile. And so I just want to stop you right here and say, if you have any questions about this information, whether you need to clear it up with a parent guardian or you need clarification from a member of our staff or the CVCC staff, please pause. You can save and continue, just don't submit this application, but make sure that this information is completely accurate, because if you were to put some inaccurate information in on your residency status, that's going to be extremely difficult to go back after submission and change. So please, please, please make sure this information is accurate. If you have any questions, pause right here, come back to it after you have cleared those questions up, and then you can save and continue.
Awesome. Thank you, Mr. Cohen. You are almost finished. There are a few more pages for this application, and then you'll be pressing submit. So on the supplemental section right here, it's going to ask how you learned about CVCC, and you can answer that for how it's true for you. And that's it. Next, you'll type your name, that's your digital signature, and press submit. And that is the first step for completing the CVCC process. So there we go. And you have submitted your application. So you will see now that it's time to activate your CVCC account. And by now, we mean right now. So you can pause this and go to your email and find that activation email and make sure that you follow the steps in there, because that is time sensitive. If you don't do that in the first 24 hours of getting the email, then it won't work. So we don't want that to happen to you. So go ahead and pause right now and activate that CVCC account so you can see everything that you have access to as a CVCC student. So if you have questions about the activation, you can go ahead and reach out to one of us and we'll make sure to connect you in the right way. All right, so in summary, you have just completed step 1 and step 2 for the CVCC process. And as a quick reminder, step 3 is requesting your official transcript from Parchment, completing the FAFSA and submitting that, and then applying for the Stay Close, Go Far scholarship right on the Beacon of Hope website.
So any of this information that you have heard from us today will be in the description below. So the links, including Parchment, FAFSA, Stay Close, Go Far, and CVCC, all of those links will be in the description below. So click those as needed. Also follow us on our social media channels. Here we will share information with you all about events, activities, and upcoming things that are relevant to you. So make sure you follow us so that we can get in touch and stay in touch with you about all of that information. And here's our contact information for the Office of College Success. As you make your transition to becoming a CVCC student, we become your new best friends. And so here's our contact information. Don't hesitate to use it. And congratulations on getting step 1 and 2 done with the completion of this video. So take care and we will talk to you soon. Bye guys.